What trade schools won't teach you? Most trade schools teach you how to be a plumber, read a tape measure, the theory in a book, and maybe how to convert decimals to fractions, and you need to know that. But it doesn't teach you how to make money. Here are the 5 biggest lies that they tell you. Now, for the seasoned pro watching, you're going to be nodding your head through this entire video if you went to trade school or anything like that. For the apprentice or recent graduate, this is the most important lesson you'll learn all year long. And for the homeowner or DIYer, this will give you a peek behind the curtain as to what separates a really good plumber or even a good plumber from a great one, because there's a big difference. Now, plumbers, please stay around to the end and tell me if there's anything that you see, any other lies, anything that you were told going through trade school or anything like that, that really, well, they turned out to be just a lie. Okay, so let's jump into this. Now, the effing lies. Now, lie number 1, that the code is everything. The reality is the code is the bare minimum. Great plumbers go beyond the code for serviceability and longevity. If you look at the code, it says, put this in, do this. It doesn't talk about securing things, making sure that the service plumber who comes back a year, a month, 12 years, comes back anytime in the future is going to be able to get to everything and fix it. It's not going to teach you things like, look, make sure that shower head is completely, totally secured to the wall where it's never going to move. I've been in my house 25 years. Mine doesn't move. I've changed the valve twice. I've never had to mess with the shower head. Look at things from a service plumber's point of view. If you're doing a rough in, look at it from the top out crew's point of view. Where does everything need to be? What's going to make their job easier? Don't rough in a drain line for a lavatory dead center. Move it off center. You may have an offset grid drain for the P-trap. If it's residential, maybe not. Learn to look ahead and think, okay, if I were coming back, topping this out, how would I want this roughed in? A good plumber, even a really good plumber, they understand the code. They're going to put things in right. A great plumber, it's going to be 100% true, square, plumb. It's going to be perfect. He's going to literally want to look at it and say, you know what, I should sign that. Because if somebody ever tears out this wall later, they're going to say, wow, this is great. I want them to know who did it. When you start loving your work that much, guys, then you're doing good. Lie number 2, newest is always best. The reality is sometimes tried and true materials and methods are more reliable than the latest gadgets. Now, guys, don't get me wrong. I remember when ProPress first came out. I thought, wow, this is great. Look how fast it goes in. But then I started looking at some of the work people were doing with it. I thought, this doesn't look good. Now, they've modified it. They've gotten better at it. But PEX, things like that. I'm going to say this flat out. If you don't know how to solder, I don't even think you're a plumber. And I'm just being honest. Other plumbers, what do you think? If you're a plumber, a licensed plumber, do you think that plumbers these days should know how to solder? Because I have so many plumbers reach out to me and say, the owner of our company will not even let us carry a torch in our truck. To me, that's scary. You should have a torch with you. Guys, a torch can be one of the greatest things in the world. If you're trying to pull lead out of an old lead and oakum joint, there's a lot of different reasons, but at the end of the day, I look at people that message me, people that reach out to me, and when they tell me I don't know how to solder because our company won't let us do it, man, that scares me. I really feel sorry for the future plumbers. Now, I'm not saying you've got to know how to do it, but I think it's a tried and true method that is better than most of the new things out there. Is there a time for press fittings? Is there a time for PEX and crimp and Uponor and all that? Absolutely. And I think it's great. But I think every plumber out there needs to know how to solder. Now, just call me old school. I'm good with it. But if you're a plumber, I want to know, what are your thoughts? And if you're a plumber that doesn't know how to solder, I want to know your thoughts. Do you wish you did? Because to me, that is a skill set that really shows you are a good plumber. Lie number 3, the job is just technical skills. Reality, communication, sales, customer service. Guys, that's probably more than 50% of the job. Now, don't get me wrong. The technical skill, that is a great thing. And if you're going to school, you need to be great at the technical skills. You need to get it. I really thought when I walked on a job, I was the best plumber there. I knew the technical skills, but my communication skills, they kind of sucked. Sales, even when I first started out as a plumber, my sales weren't any good. But guys, you don't just need to know this as a service plumber. If you're a commercial plumber, your customer is that general contractor, and you've got to be able to sell to him if you need a change order done. No matter what the reason, guys, communication and sales are huge. But one of the biggest things, customer service. You've got to understand that customer, that general contractor, if you're commercial, is paying every bill you've got. They are paying for the new shoes on your children's feet. They're paying for your children's education. They're paying for their lunches every day. They're paying for your date night Friday night. If you don't understand great communication, if you don't understand sales, if you're a service plumber, do you give somebody good, better, or best options? If not, why not? You should always be allowing them the opportunity to upgrade their system to what we're currently installing. It's a smart idea. And if you're not doing that, it's something that you should work on. Lie number 4, your boss will teach you everything. In reality, you're responsible for your own career growth. You must be proactive about it. I talk about these things all the time. 10 habits that require no skill. Find those and get good at them. Because in reality, you are responsible for your career growth. I realized that I was making more money when I started learning things that helped me move up. I learned management. I learned leadership. Like in number 3, I learned communication skills. You've got to learn things that are going to make you better. Now, your boss is going to teach you some things. He may teach you this is the way I want it done, but he's not going to teach you how to communicate with people. He's not going to teach you how to learn the things that are going to help you move up to make more money. Now, don't get me wrong. Some of them will. Some of them will take you under their wing and say, okay, you're a foreman now. I'm going to help you learn the good things to become a great superintendent. And be grateful for those that do that. But if they don't, understand you need to learn. Me, I took it as my personal responsibility. When I got apprentices that I thought were great, I wanted to teach them to be a foreman. I wanted to teach them to be a superintendent. And I go back and look at them, and a lot of these people have moved up and done good things. And some of them even reach out and say, dude, I learned so much from you. You taught me how to be better. And at the end of the day, you understand the GOAT, the GOAT, always makes the most money. They always get paid what they're worth. And if you're not doing those things, if you're not putting yourself in a position to learn, to move yourself up, why not? Guys, if you're not, there's a problem here. If you're not learning the things that move you into a better position, it's a problem. Now, number 5, that you do every single thing by the book. Okay? That by the book method feels spectacularly on a job that I was on. And there was an old time plumber, which was really good. And this was when I was still an apprentice. But he was really good. But what he did, he would pull things off one column. Now, don't get me wrong. He'd mark a center line off this column line, and he'd mark a center line off that column line, but then he'd pull everything off that one line. And I realized after we got 2 or 3 floors up, man, we're off. I'm having to come back in and drill and chip to move a line over in the wall. So when we laid out the next one, when he was laying out center line of that column, I laid out center line of a caddy corner column. That way I could mark center line of this column and that column. So literally now we had 4 columns, and I was able to pull the measurement center line to center line and realized that the column centers were 2 inches off. He was pulling everything off one. So we got the general contractor up there, the superintendent, the general superintendent. They measured things out. They had leeway. They had space. They're like, look, we can be 2 inches off. Yeah, but we can't. Those walls don't move. So we literally had them start coming up and marking what the true center line of the column was that they were going to lay the walls out by. And that made all the difference in the world. Everything is not always by the book. You should be able to pull your measurements off one column line. Completely agree. But when there's a problem and you have to go in and look at it and figure out why is there a problem? And remember, this is me as an apprentice thinking, okay, we're pulling it off this column. What if I set up everything over here? You know the center to center on the column, so you can literally just reverse engineer the numbers 2 inches off. And I saw this as an apprentice. These are the 5 things that they lie to you about. The core truth, the thing that ties all this together, school gives you a great foundation. I've walked in some trade schools that I think are phenomenal. I've walked in and sat through some teaching in some of them. They're good, but they're teaching you the very basic foundation, but real world experience and commitment by you to consistently learning your way up, that's what's going to build a successful career. And if you want to build a successful career, it's on your shoulders. Now, the point of this video isn't to bash trade schools. They provide a great foundation. But as we've discussed, that foundation is just the starting point. The difference between earning $50,000 a year and $150,000 a year, that lies in the skills that they don't teach you in the classroom. It's about advanced troubleshooting, customer psychology, learning what the customer is thinking, communications, learning how to communicate with them, and maximizing your efficiency on every single job you're on. Now, I've spent 45 years learning these lessons the hard way, then becoming an instructor in the union. I've taken the things that I've learned to actually help me make more money, and I've condensed them all into a Becoming a Better Tradesman course. It's the graduate level program for the real world. You've already made a commitment to your career by finishing school, by even enrolling in school. But take the next logical step and invest in the skills that will actually determine your success and your financial success. Click the link in the description to learn how to become one of the top earners in your field. And I'm going to tell you the truth. And if you hadn't done it yet, hit that subscribe button, ring the bell, and share this video with somebody that you think needs to learn their way up.